Time now for Coming In Hot with Brent Wallace and former Ottawa Senators Jason York.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Coming In Hot. Brent Wallace alongside Jason York. Yorkie, how are you on this fine Monday morning?
I'm good. Yeah, no, I'm good. Sun's shining finally.
Didn't you play this weekend in Montreal?
I did. Yeah, I was in a charity event. Hockey Helps the Homeless again. Great event. I've played in a bunch of their events. They did it in Montreal. Had a great group of guys, and I was on fire too, Wally. Final game. I went up and played the right flank. Couple goals, couple assists. I might make a comeback. This time as a forward, though.
So did you play? I was going to ask you this. I thought this on the weekend. Did you play forward first of all this weekend?
I played the first couple games on D, and then played forward for the last game. Interesting group of guys too that were there for the Friday. Some random list of names. Wally, Alex Daigle, who's going to be joining us shortly, was there. Andre Waugh, Neeler was there. Rafi Torres. And
wow.
there was actually a Bobby Dallas sighting. Bobby Dallas. He of the one shortest tenure ever with the Ottawa Senators was there. Laurie Boschman, Sean Van Allen, Sean Donovan. But it's a really cool event because as everybody knows, homelessness is a huge problem in Canada. So it's a great initiative.
Perfect. We're going to get to the Dag in just a sec. I'm excited to talk to him again. There's been so much that's actually happened in a short period of time with him.
Yeah.
Congratulations to the Canadian national women's team, who world champions once again, overtime victory in Utica, which is a beautiful facility if you've never been there. Of course, Marie-Philippe Poulin just does what she does. I did a story on her a long time ago when she was first coming up about her being perhaps the greatest female player of all time. I think she is. Yeah,
no, I saw the highlights. Couple nice snipes. I didn't get a chance to watch the game. Busy weekend, but no, absolutely, she's 100% in the conversation.
By the way, is there an update on your family life?
yeah, there is. I see. I'm under the way it works now with the new generation. Everything has to be announced. They want to announce things on Instagram and things like that. But yes, I guess I can say it now. I'm officially Papa Yorkie. Yeah,
congrats.
Yeah, early Saturday morning. My daughter had a beautiful baby girl, 9 pounds 1 ounces. Margot with a T. Awesome name. Awesome nice. Name. Yeah.
All right, let's take care of some business. Then we got to bring in the Dag because there's too much time. The Daigle, sorry. There's
the Daigle.
Yeah, I keep forgetting we got to use the GLE part. I just always used to calling them Dag. So anyway, moving on. This show proudly presented by Betway. Go to betway.ca. Don't forget, coming up, the NHL bracket challenge brought to you by Betway. Must be 18 plus. Please play responsibly. Bet your way with Betway, and by BEI, Bonisher Excavating Inc., helping to shape the Ottawa Valley, of course. Give them a shout. Heavy civil general contractor in both the public and private sectors. Equipment rentals, aggregate topsoil sales, heavy hauling and floating. They just basically move stuff. Hot mix paving, that's getting started up again with the spring coming. Commercial, public, residential, concrete formwork. Visit BonisherExcavating.com and give them a call, 613-432-1120.
And also our good friend Douglas Mattress, named Canada's best mattress for that unrivaled comfort, sleep isolation motion, sleeps cool, relieves pressure points, and of course is an awesome value. It's loved by more than 200,000 Canadians, over 10,000 five-star reviews. You can order it online very easily in 1 to 4 business days. Every mattress comes with that great sleep comfort bundle, pillow sheets, and a mattress protector. You can order your Douglas today. Don't wait. 365 night sleep trial. You can get that by visiting douglas.ca/CIH.
And without further ado, let's get to it, right? He's now a big TV star everywhere, is Alex Daigle these days. Daggy,
Hey, you better believe it.
You better believe it.
You
Hey, look
better
at
believe
you.
it. Hey,
This is
first
so
off,
good.
congrats, old man Yorkie. That's definitely the old man section right now.
Right?
I was so happy when you picked your daughter's name as my name, Alexandra. It was a great gesture when I was your roommate. I really do appreciate that.
Forgot
So
about that.
congrats on that, and congrats on baby Margot. Perfect. Good for you.
Thank you, buddy. How'd you know anyhow? You got people everywhere, eh?
I got
You
people
got-
everywhere. You better
you
believe.
got-
Are you kidding me? I know Alexandra for a long time. It's been almost 30 years, my friend. So
Oh, yeah.
let it go. You'll never know where I get those information. But congrats. Very happy for you. Very happy.
So you know what, Diggy and I were talking. He was convinced that I named my daughter after I saw, because when we used to play, we all had our bags on the road, and of course, Diggy had the Louis Vuitton bags with his name embroidered on them, Alex, right on the. Come on, you're on the road trip, get the Louis Vuittons, get the Alex. But no, it was 1 month. She was when I met you. My daughter was 1 month, so it's amazing how everything comes full circle. You and I have reconnected. We all have kids now. It's awesome.
We always been connected. Easy, easy. I felt connected to you, buddy.
Hey, listen,
you just never reached out.
I know. I missed you by 1 year too. I went back at your career when you went over to play in Switzerland. I was there the year before, so we missed each other by 1 year. And listen, I'll give you some credit. I wasn't as smart as you. I left and you stayed, I think, for 4 or 5 years and enjoyed your life.
It was great. I should have stayed a couple more years. I was 36. I think I had a couple more in me, but not too bad. There you go.
What a life.
Okay, I got questions.
Wally's grinding at the bit here.
Go, Wally.
He's going to get to the meat here.
So I've watched your documentary twice now. I think it's
Wow.
very, very good.
I
am curious what your reaction is to it. And I'm going to guess it's emotional because your dad is in it, first of all. But I'm assuming you've enjoyed the reaction to it.
Extremely. Well, first off, I watched it with my daughter, my son, my wife. So I saw a long version of it. It was like an hour 18, something like that. And they shorted it to about 48 minutes. So, and when I watched it the first time, there was no music. It was not, as tight as it was. So it was very tight. I thought it was, for me, I said, oh, geez, it should have been longer. It was, it was so, but it was a good therapy for me because I was looking at my career and the way I live my life from an 18-year-old perspective. So now, I'm in the late 40s now. And when I watched this, geez, those are some great times in there. And it went very fast, obviously. And my daughters was different. I was emotional seeing this. And my daughters were more pumped that was number 2 on Amazon. So they loved it, but it was great for them to see because they never saw me play. So to see where their dad was at 18 and going forward. So very emotional time. And my dad, the timing was perfect. We did that interview with my dad. It was in August, I believe. And you get very sick, I would say January maybe at that time. He was, was in chemo, he was doing all that. He had news in October of that year, and he died October of the prior year, and he died March. So it was good timing. He was still, his head was all there, so it was perfect. Yeah, and it was fun because for me, he said a couple of things that he never told me. Because his different generation, was almost 80 years old, so it's not like he's gonna have a couple of beers with me and tell me how much he loves me. That's not that generation anyway. For me, my dad was not like that. So but I knew we the only bad thing I would say about hockey is when I stopped playing, we stopped talking every day. We start, maybe once or twice a week. I was more focused on my kids, obviously, and everything else. But when I played hockey, every day we spoke. We spoke about practice. We spoke about the games. And after the games, he was always my biggest fan and telling me that I made all perfect plays. And, that was the type of dad I had. Super positive. So Yeah.
Well,
So you're
So you,
so
you hang on one
go
second. I just
ahead.
want to touch on one thing. Is
Yeah.
you talking about your dad and
Yeah.
comments? When is the first time you heard that clip of him saying that about him in Montreal, right? About being how proud he was that he knew you were in the
Yeah.
NHL at that point.
I think I watched it in New York with those guys. I never saw that clip ever. So I thought it made sense, for the way Montreal was so big for so many years, and he was in that meet, in the '70s when they were winning all the time, and Guy Lafleur and all those guys. That's what my dad grew up with. I think he saw one game live, during that era, because obviously tickets were scarce. It was not easy to get tickets. So that was great. I thought it was great that he lived that, live at the Forum against
Amazing
Patrick
tie.
Roy. Yeah. And it was a win. Kekalainen scored that overtime. I didn't know that. That was awesome.
Yeah, the former
Kekalainen.
GM. That's wild.
Here's one day. Did you, when you were a kid with your dad? Because people ask me this question all the time. They said, when did you see your first NHL game? I'm like, when I played in one. I had never, like, when you were a kid, did you and your dad ever go to games or anything?
Never. I was lucky because the draft was in '93 in Quebec, and the last game of the season, Stanley Cup final, was in Montreal against the Kings. So the NHL gave me 2 tickets. So that's pretty much the only game that we went. We went to a lot of junior games because Mario was playing in my hometown in Laval.
Yeah.
So it was like 15 minutes away. So I went a couple of those games. But in those days, the tickets that we had were in the stairs. So I didn't have any tickets. So they were selling standing only tickets, and we're sitting in the stairs. And for the playoffs, it was at the Forum with Mario because I think it was 3,000 or 4,000 in Laval. So that was it. One game.
Okay, so you come back to Ottawa. I was in the box with you that night. Is that really, because you had all your kids there and your wife was there? It was awesome. I just want to ask.
Hold on a second. Tell them you got to set that up better, Yorkie. You come back to the first time ever to the Canadian Tire Center since you left.
Was that
right?
really?
Had you been in the building before?
I don't think so. I don't think I went to see any games.
Wow.
No, because I came back. I came back to Quebec in 2010.
Yeah.
And no, I don't. No, never came back. That was it.
So
I was happy. It was Allison actually that reached out. Allison
Vaughn.
That worked for the Sens the first day. Actually, I think she was working for Firestone before he bought the team. So she's been around, and she reached out, and that was it. Yeah, very happy about that. I think the owner is making a big. He's making effort as well to bring the players back. I think that's great. I think Montreal for years, that was their key, going to the communities and going around and playing golf or playing hockey tournaments or whatever. You need to be close to your community. The easiest way is to send the alumni, because obviously the players, they have a day job and they have different focus. And in the summer, Montreal used to play softball games, going to different towns. Obviously, you had 10 to 12 French players. It was a different era.
Yeah.
But I think the alumni is a big component of being close to the communities.
Hey, so how cool did your kids think that was? Because really, they never really got a chance to see you play because you had them later. So they're in the building.
Mm-hmm.
You go and you make an announcement. You give it the sweater. Your kids all have Daigle sweaters on. Like what were your kids thinking? They're like, wow, this is like, what's going through their heads?
Well, I didn't tell them that that they were going to do that. I learned it a couple of days before. I didn't know either. I thought I was just going to the game. And my kid, my son, is a big fan of Connor Bedard. He doesn't watch much hockey, but he watched the World Junior last year. So, and Connor Bedard, a huge impact. So for him, that's the guy now. So he was very happy to come to that game. Rewind a little bit. For me, I would say 2 years ago, I wouldn't have been comfortable doing that, going to the game and having a tape
Really?
of me. No, I just felt, that I was not really happy about my career and the way I ended it in Ottawa and or in the NHL. And but you always look at a different perspective. And when they did that doc and they put it more in perspective, I said, yeah, man, that's pretty awesome. I had a great life. I played a lot of games, and I lived in LA for a while, came back, had kids. It's a good story, and I really felt good about it. So when they put that thing on that little video and my kids were around me, my kids were so happy to be on the Jumbotron. It was like, I don't think they watched the tape. It's so hilarious to me.
They didn't see the highlights.
No. I get emotional on things, and then they really focus on other things. Like they focus on being second on Amazon, being on the Jumbotron. Okay,
like,
whatever.
Hey, you're like, hey, this is about me. Like we're watching my video here.
They talk to me about what's going to be the buffet and the suite. That's
that's
know,
right.
Like whatever.
Will there be
want,
chicken fingers? So, Daigle, were you nervous when they asked you? And then tell me, because you got a huge ovation, what that ovation felt like for a guy that, if you had mentioned your name 5 years ago, they're like, oh, that's the guy I never wanted to play in Ottawa. There was a complete different feeling, I'm going to guess, from one to the other.
Oh, yeah.
Were you nervous going in the building?
Wow, super nervous. Not going into the building, going into the Jumbotron and that video that I was nervous about. Because I didn't know when I said, yes, I'm coming to the game. They didn't tell me, hey, I'm going to do a video. You're going to go in the stands with your kids and just wave us. I'm not sure I was going to say yes right away. But I was nervous going through that. I didn't know the reaction. But at the same time, I had so many great feedback from my doc. Yeah. Numerous people from, I did a charity in Brockville. I think Yorkie was there.
Right.
Because, I had the feedback from the French perspective, and it was just awesome. On the Ontario side or the English side, I didn't know. So when I did Brockville, those people were like very pumped up, and I was like, oh, okay, that's amazing. And so I knew I had a good feeling it would have been a good, because a lot of people didn't see me play, we gotta put that in perspective. Because most of the people at season tickets, they were 45 or 40, 45, 50 at the time when they bought those tickets. So now they're 70, 80. So a lot of people didn't see me play for the Ottawa Center. They heard a lot. So, and when they do a video, they just put your highlights. So I look awesome.
Hey, that guy's pretty good. Daigle, let's be honest. So, like, how did the Daigle comeback tour really start, though? Like, who gave you the call? Who told you? Who brought you on the podcast? First, let's give some credit where credit's due here.
I'll give you some credit. I the first guy who called me, as far as had to do the doc, was a guy named Jay Nelson, and this producer was Ross Bernard, and they started that old chain of me being on TV. I didn't understand the impact, because it took a long time. Like it took about 1.5 years to do that doc. You see the quality and the type of budget, and they took their time, because the beauty about streaming is there's no set date. It doesn't matter. So that was the first thing. And after that, out of the blue, you called me. I think you ran out of your old Rolodex you had on your desk. You still got Rolodex, right? So
it's just one
turning
name.
And turning.
Is it Alex?
Hey, who's this guy?
And I because there's another one here that called me 4 or 5 times, called La Poche Bleue. It's 2 hockey players, Lapierre and Latendresse. They called me, and I always said no, because it was a different type podcast. You guys are, you want to talk. First of all, you do it in the morning, and you want to talk about hockey, and those guys, it's more. There's way more entertaining as far as they're drinking
Wally's,
beers.
That's Wally's fault.
No. I'm not. That's a worse. I didn't.
I know
mean
what
that.
you
I mean, I mean, they start the
It's
beers
looser.
and yeah, and I'm not comfortable doing that. That's not for me. And when you called me, I said yes for sure. And after that, I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed being with you guys, and I like that format. There's no, it's pretty. I think it's fun for me.
Yeah.
So I know the release was coming, so I said yes to those guys, and it was a good hit. And I told them there was no alcohol, so they had one beer because they have their own beer now. They have their own beer company, so they only drank one, and it was a great show.
Nice, nice.
By the way, Guillaume Latendresse, former Ottawa Senator, Andre Waugh is
Yeah.
also part of that podcast, and they're part of our Nation Network group. Anyway,
Oh,
There you go.
so
There
that's
you go.
so all in the same.
there you
family.
go.
You go back to the documentary as we jump around a bit, but I was curious. There were some pretty, I'll say, stinging comments in there for me. I was surprised a little bit. Like Roy McGregor, who's a Hall of Fame writer we know very well, just said like that's Alex Dagg's biggest contribution to the game was the draft lottery, and there was the other one about you setting the salary cap for rookies. Like, did any of that? Because it's now 30 years later, any of that sting you? Because you went,
no.
Okay.
Listen, it is what it is. When I watched it, you can frame him as you want, but I think the NHL was going towards that. That's for sure, because we had a lockout. So that's the first framework of having the cap we have now. But a lot of things play in the owner's favor as far as those timing goes. Lindros was 2 years before me. I think he got $5 US at the time. And I came in because in between, I think Amerlik, I'm not sure if he played right away. That we have to check, but I came in right after, and for me, it was Quebec, was Ottawa, was everything. So, and the lockout happened a year after. So, yeah, I think it's a great contribution to the owners. But at the same time, there's always loopholes. I think, as far as the cap for, if you do well, you're going to make your money in the first 3-4 years anyway. But yeah, there were some sting comments. I don't think that one was the worst. So this is what it is. But at the end of the day, it's 30 years ago and a lot changed.
Exactly. Okay, then hold on. What bugged you? Roman Hammerlick played 92-93, by the way.
He did?
Bugged
Okay.
You? Yeah.
That girl was asking me all those questions when I was, 21, 22. It didn't bug me to put it in. I think it was great that they put that in perspective and they put it in there. I liked it. But those were the things that bugged me the most at that time.
So I had to look her up. I did vaguely remember. I remember the show NHL Cool Shots.
Yeah.
And I'm watching this as a reporter, and I'm like, did she really just ask those questions? Like, I can't imagine mentioning or saying those things to you in what is basically a live interview, right? Like, what about your lack of commitment, Alex? You live in LA, you're out of shape. I'm like, what? And you were like, I am being serious.
Yeah, no, it was for me. I was when I saw that, I said, geez, those, just to reframe it, Cool Shot was supposed to be a fun, engaging type show for
pro player.
For everybody to watch, just to relax. It was not like an in-depth interview and you're sitting down and you're going against. And she was super soft of, I would bring those comments. So I don't know, man. It was tough because at that time I did have a six-pack. I did have a great time in LA, but I was like, geez, really? Yeah, like, that's where we're going. And it was, but it just, the first time I watched it made me cringe. I said, oh, geez, that was tough. But I think it was a good thing that they put it in there, put things in perspective, what it was. I think that was a little bit of the goal of doing this that way. I'm guessing.
Last thing about
NHL had so many misses back then when they were trying to promote the game like that. So many disasters of just putting that's a great example. But
yeah, and to be, it took a long time for those guys. I think this year, the All-Star game, if you just, putting those players in a different type of competition they did, I think it was nice. It was good, and it was a step forward. But the year before was in Florida, and a couple of dudes were on the beach just shooting at the surfboard. Make no fucking sense to me. And the year before was in Vegas in front of Bellagio trying salsa passing. Guys, those guys don't want to be there doing this. Like, it's still a struggle. Just put it that way.
Yeah, I agree.
I like the old All-Star skills competitions, like back in Yorkie's era and stuff. I thought it was fine, but then it just continues to get gimmicky, I guess. You just want to appeal to the younger crowd. Okay,
exactly.
Moving on. Alex, before I do have a note about you and Yorkie. So before that, did you keep did you collect anything from your playing days? Do you still have the Jofa helmet?
It's so funny. I don't. I never kept anything. I kept some jerseys. That Jofa. Wow, what a mistake.
I know, right?
That's a classic.
How do you get into that?
You must have been paid.
Oh yeah. No. You know me better than that. Yorkie knows. Like, if I'm gonna do that. But all the build up for me to get to the NHL. Well, the first thing was the nurse thing, right? The nurse was I got paid, but I was 17 years old doing that photo shoot, or that one, another beauty. So I was 18. I correct that because I did that photo shoot in the summer going into the draft. I was not with the Ottawa Senators yet. Yeah, with no agents around and nobody to prove that concept. Beautiful. The other one was Jofa. Jofa was very aggressive. They went after Mario was the first guy to wear it. I don't know if you remember that. And Vinny Damphous. So they went after the French guys, and Pierre Lacroix represented Damphous, and we made the deal with those guys. But at the end of the day, everybody was wearing, I think, was CCM at the time.
Yeah, Montreal a lot was mostly CCM. Remember all the French guys in Montreal.
That's right.
So for me, it was a no-brainer. I wanted to wear CCM, and So just before getting to the NHL, I got that commercial. I got my contract, and after I come to camp with that helmet, that's a bad combo. That's a 1, 2, 3 punch.
Oh yeah, because back then, if you wore something different than the usual CCM, guys abused you on the ice. Anybody. I remember Bobby Dallas in Anaheim had he had an iTech helmet on.
Oh my God.
He took it hard every single game.
Those were terrible.
Plus, those helmets, they were reserved for like star players in the league.
That's
established. Right. Nobody. I didn't see any fighters with those ones. It's like so right away you're gonna get abused anyway. So I didn't know that, but I was 18 and thinking, it's awesome. Yeah, good move.
It was like the star players got to wear the Jofa, and then all the fighters wore. Remember the knuckle buster. The Cooper with the things on the side.
Oh yeah.
That was that they called that the knuckle buster. All the tough guys wore them because if you hit the side of the Cooper, you'd bust your knuckles on it. So those were the only two approved helmets for players on the Stars. You're right. Yeah, only the Stars got to wear the Jofa.
Yeah.
And Daigle.
Well, mostly French Stars. Oh, Solani, I think, came in with that one.
That's right.
Tikkanen. Right. There you go.
Or Yari Curry. Sorry. Is he the one?
Yeah, Yari Curry. Yeah. But the Jofa, they had the small Jofa, though, like Marty McSorley and Gretzky, and that was no protection at all. So the bubble was the classic. But no, I don't have any of that.
That's too bad.
I got a couple of jerseys. Most of my jerseys, I do have pretty much it.
Okay. I got it. Here's a note for you two. It's in today's Did You Know, which is brought to you by Wendy's and the Wendy's Daily Face-Off Survivor Pool. The only thing sweeter than the taste of victory is starting your day with the new Cinnabon pull-aparts from Wendy's. That's right. Cinnabon is at Wendy's. But there's no reason you can't have both now that Wendy's and Daily Face-Off are giving you a chance to win weekly prizes all season long. So basically, go to dailyfaceoff.com, click on the Daily Face-Off Wendy's Survivor Pool, and get in on all the action Monday to Saturday. Also, you can get a Cinnabon pull-apart small coffee for basically $5 right now. Sign up today for the Daily Face-Off Survivor Pool, sponsored by Wendy's and the Wendy's app. Here we go, gentlemen. Alex Daigle scored 3 NHL goals that were assisted by Jason York, all three of them on home ice. The first one was an overtime winner against the Rangers in 1997. The second one was the home opener versus Carolina in the 97-98 season. And then finally, it would be the 71st out of 74 goals Dig would score with the Ottawa Senators. Only one of those, though, was a primary assist. I believe it was on the first one.
Yeah, it all starts with a good pass out of your zone, Wally. Give me a little credit here.
Dig, I just want to ask you, Dig, are you shocked that Yorkie wouldn't give you the puck more since you only got 3 goals from him?
I'm not shocked. He was never on the ice when I was on. I was playing on the first line. Just remember that. So Yorkie was down deep in the chart.
Oh yeah, just grinding it out.
No. I'm surprised. I'm very surprised. There's only but I'm surprised too. I didn't know I scored an overtime goal against the Rangers. That's a great thing. Didn't know that.
That's why it's did you know?
You had I know it's part of the documentary, but I went and looked it up. I can't seem to match the game, but you did score a winner in Montreal. I don't believe it to be overtime, but you did put together what I think was maybe one of your favorite games ever was in Montreal.
Yes.
It was like a 6-1 game, but I think you ended up with the winner somehow in that game, or 6-3 or something.
I remember that game. Yeah, I think I scored a couple goals there. Yeah. I think the goalie, was it Jablonski? Was it Jablonski?
Oh, Pat Jablonski.
Jablonski, like a lefty, right? Is he a lefty? Anyway, yeah, I remember that game. That was one of the – but I remember more of the game I played. One of my first games, it was at the Forum. Yeah, and I scored against Patrick Roy. That was one of my big moments. Yeah.
So that was your dad in the crowd for that one, right? Is that the game?
Always in the crowd. It was always in the crowd. He was in Ottawa a lot too. He had season tickets there, so he came. It was only 1:45 from my house, the Ottawa. 2 hours. So, he was coming every game.
So was it hard on him when
super hard?
Yeah,
super hard. Yeah, because you hear the comments, and after a couple of years, people know he's my dad, right? So it's the same seats, everything. Yeah.
Okay. That's what I was wondering. Because just as a parent, you're like, damn it, there's nothing you can do to protect them. So that's what I was curious. Okay. So you're now a broadcaster.
Apparently. Yeah, officially as Saturday night. Yeah. Big impact on the hockey game. Big impact.
So we're going to talk.
You did the Sens game, right?
I did the Sens game, and I was pro Sens, and everybody on the panel was pro Montreal. I loved it.
Oh, you got a little controversy going on.
And I didn't know. And did you know that's another stats? It's been 9 games in a row that the Sens won against Montreal. It was unbelievable.
Look at this guy bringing it. He's an insider now.
Longest winning streak against an opponent.
And they asked me to feature a player after the first period, and I picked Pinto.
Yeah.
Because I looked at his stats. This dude, the last half of the season, obviously the first half, he was relaxing and enjoying a cocktail.
Yeah.
And he
wasn't relaxing.
He wasn't relaxed. He was training hard. I know. And he was with Jesse Winchester, and he told me that this kid, he's very strong on the puck, and he's a very likable kid and everything. And I said, oh, okay. So I started looking at his stats, and he's plus 10 on a losing team. Mm-hmm. It's pretty impressive. Mm-hmm. And he would have been on a 60 to 65 point season. I said, oh, okay. And he's strong on the puck. I started looking at him, and I said, geez, this guy will, he's on the first power play. He's playing with he's going to get some points, and he's playing the right way. And geez, he gets on the ice, and he scores a goal. So you better believe it. Beautiful.
This guy knows what he's talking about.
Are you getting a Pinto jersey? Yeah.
Well, not yet. He's gonna get a Daigle jersey for sure. I'm gonna pump him up.
Hey, good timing too. His contract. He just signed a 1-year deal too. So
he just signed a 1-year deal.
So yeah, he's going to be an RFA this summer.
Yeah,
great player.
Question is, how much money does he get paid?
Oh, he's going to get paid for sure. That's why you got that suspension. You didn't fight it off. Get you that 40 games at $800,000. I'll do it. I would have done that too.
He's going to do fairly well. So I just want to go back.
Yeah.
Yorkie and I firmly believe that we should get a part of your paycheck based on us helping promote you in the podcast. I'm just
You've been
curious of your
working on
thoughts on this.
Huh? You started slowly and slowly, right? 96, the kid's name, everything going through that bonus check. No, but to be fair, it's not easy to do broadcasts. It was my first experience, and it was a big one. It was a Saturday night. That's the big day in Montreal, obviously, for all those reasons that we all know. So really enjoyed it. I think hopefully, they're going to call me back, but I would love to be part of that broadcast or any broadcast, because TVA is doing all the games, all the playoff games as well. They're part of that Sportsnet deal. So no, I really, really, really enjoyed it.
Did you bring the A suit? Did you wear the A suit? Get the scarf?
Yeah, I actually did. But the thing is, TVA is trying to be a little bit looser.
Yeah.
As far as comments and as far as, everything is not as tight. But I look at all those guys that 3-piece suit. I said, geez, didn't get the memo, boys. But I try to be very funny. I sent a lot of liners, and one of them you would love, Yorkie, because we had, Michel Thierry, the Montreal coach, obviously, and he does like a small segment before the games, like 6-7 minutes, but he's always in Florida. And it's not really serious. We're talking about a game that's got no meaning, and like, what are you gonna say? And I asked him a question, say, "Hey, Mike, by the way, when are you starting your Winnebago coming back to Montreal and filing your taxes on the 38th, buddy? Long line at the border, so chop."
What did he say?
He started laughing.
You know what he probably said? He probably said, "That's a lack of respect, Daigle. It's a lack of respect."
No.
That's his famous line.
Yeah, lack of respect. But he was. Anyway, that was the type of show that we did, because they do over there like an hour before and an hour after as well. Right. So only on Saturdays. So. But try to keep it light a little bit, because come on.
Okay. Well, since you are now versed in all things hockey and you watch the Sens, I'm going to ask you your thoughts on another player who's in today's hot and cold performer. So this show proudly presented by DoorDash. Get everything you need, even at the last minute. Choose what you want from where you want with Double Dash on DoorDash. Order from multiple restaurants, same delivery. Get 25% off, 0 delivery fees in your first order, $15 or more when you download the DoorDash app. Enter code NATION25, 25% off up to a $10 value, 0 delivery fees in your first order. When you download the DoorDash app, enter code NATION25. Offered valid in Canada, subject to change. Terms apply. One Mr. Brady Tkachuk is our hot performer. Against Montreal, he was dominant, right? 2 goals, 3 points, 12 shots on goal, which ties his career high.
12 shots.
Yeah.
Wow.
26 minutes, the most he's played this season, by over, I think, 5 minutes. In his last 16 games, 21 points, 10 goals. I think he's got 2 game winners. He's got his first ever career shootout winner, 85 shots, and he's averaging 20 minutes. I understand they're out of the playoffs, and so we can say that all this stuff doesn't matter, and it's easy for him. You've still got to perform every night. I just think he's been so good on a consistent basis, night in, night out. Alex, what are your thoughts?
You're right. It doesn't mean anything, but you still play against teams that mean something to them. So, except Montreal, obviously, and a couple of teams, but most of the teams you're going to play against teams. It's going to be tough. So they're going to play their best player against him. No, I'm very impressed. I saw him play. Obviously against Chicago, it's a different game, but against Montreal, it's pretty evened out, and he was stand out. So I hope that they keep that nucleus. I talked about it on the show. They have that Patterson. I don't know about Norris. Yep. I saw him play a couple of times. He got a great shot, but he's been injured quite a bit, so that's a different thing. I love Giroux. If they can bring back another of those type of guys on the offensive side, that'd be great. And they have to draft well. That's going to be their key to go to the next level, to bring guys with Brady. I think their power play will be good next year, but this year is just, I look at the stats, it makes no sense to me. looking at the power play against Montreal, obviously Montreal's not great either, but still they have great players, and they're what, 38 in the league, something like that.
I think they've moved under Jacques. They've moved up to like 24th in the power play under Jacques Martin.
Oh, okay. So let's get a little bit better, but still, that's going to be
their power play last year was 8th in the league.
Yeah.
Wow, well, that makes a big difference. But yeah, so drafting well would be their key. I don't know when they're going to give up that first pick, and I don't know what the draft looks like this year. I think they have 2 first round. I think that's what we talked about. So, because nobody will come in Ottawa or any Canadian team on the free agency, that's the big name. That's not going to happen. You're going to get guy at the end of their career. But so you got to pick them well, or you got to, be very, very lucky in a trade. I don't know what's the depth chart, with Ottawa as far as the minors goes. If they have any bites, they can do something, but it's not great. Because the issue of the taxes would always come up on the free agency with the big numbers. So they need a guy, like Giroux, and a guy like Giroux that I'm very surprised that he left Philly and Philly let them go. Makes no sense to me either.
What a player,
sense.
right? What a player, right, Daigle? Like when you watch him.
Amazing. And he's still, because his style of play, it's not really affected as far as, because he's always been slow. So it's not,
it doesn't make sense.
So it doesn't make sense to let that guy go because he's older. And plus, where they are in that, Philly is not exactly, ahead of the game right now, right? So it makes no sense. So good for Ottawa.
Daigle, you mentioned something too with the free agent. This is what Ottawa has to do moving forward, and it's kind of like what they used to do back pre-Melnyk. They need to draft, develop better than anybody else in the league. Get their hands on their guys, work with them, beef up that hockey ops and all the guys in development, and be better than everybody else. That's how they're going to have to do it, because you're right. Like it's tough to attract guys to Canadian markets. So you got to be better once you get your hands on these guys and how you develop them.
Yeah, and you have to be lucky. If you look at Tampa Bay, I don't know if it's luck or their draft department, but they got Kucherov, second round? You got Point on the 3rd round. You have to be lucky with those guys that are very talented, you can tell, but people have knocks on and you take chances. You need to. That's the only way, because one first pick a year won't get you there. So you're absolutely right. You need to be better than any other teams.
Yeah. They had those guys. Mark Stone was a 6th rounder. They traded them. Moving on.
Move on. But did they trade him because he didn't want to sign? That's
no. So here,
they didn't want to.
Mark Stone wanted to stay. It was coming up to the lockout. He wanted lockout protection in that contract, and Eugene wouldn't give it to him. That's what happened.
Wow.
Yeah. But he totally wanted to stay in Ottawa. The whole he still lives here in the off season. His wife's from here. He trains here all it was not true, the narrative that he didn't want to play here.
But after that, he got a taste of little U.S. no tax, no state tax money.
He's very happy in Vegas.
In your mouth, my friend.
Yeah. So Alex, could you imagine? So this is off topic. So when he got traded to Vegas, they have got the band at the airport. All the marquees on the Vegas Strip have his face on, like "Welcome to." Could you imagine if that was you back in '93? Of what that would have been like? It would have been amazing.
It would have been amazing.
How cool would that be? How do you compete with that as a player?
The setup was different. I was a rookie coming into a league, and hopefully I can make my way. He was going to Vegas. He was a proven player, and it was going to make a difference in their team, and it did. He actually did. Yeah. And he's probably going to do it this year again. Last year, they discovered a bad back for him. This year, they discover a bad spleen. Those are nice. If you go on an MRI machine, pretty tough to pinpoint that injury.
I shouldn't even gone down this road. Okay, we're we're moving on since I still have you, and I'm going to actually they're playing the Rangers tonight. Your former team is Ottawa now. Final 2 games, not easy. They're going to play New York tonight in New York, then they go into Boston for the final 2 games of the year. So we're going to put you in with our lock of the day picks, which is brought to you by Betway.
Oh, here we go.
Go to betway.ca. Must be 19 plus. Please play responsibly, but bet your way with Betway. Here is the lock of the day. Now, let's keep in mind, the New York Rangers are the best team in the league in the last 33 games they've played since middle of January, I think it is. They are dominant. Now, tonight is there's some issue. Like the Rangers will clinch the Metro Division, the Eastern Conference, and the President's Trophy if they win this game. So, now Ottawa does love to play in New York. They're 3-1 against the Rangers in the last 4 games on the road. Brady Tkachuk's got 14 points in the last 9 games. In the last 10 games, Ottawa's played very well. Can the Ottawa Senators beat the New York Rangers tonight at MSG?
The stats that I looked on your board that I liked, it was the PK that went from 70-something% to 88, but it's still not good enough, and they have one of the best power play in the league.
I think they're number 2.
And can anybody catch the Rangers if they lose the last 2?
Boston can, I think. Oh, you mean in the division? Not really.
Yeah. No.
Carolina, I will ask Brett, can you put up the standings?
Let's have a look here. We need to see if somebody can catch them.
So Carolina's 1 point back.
What type of matchup we're looking at it now?
So the Rangers, if they win, they get Washington currently if they win the conference.
Oh
wow. Okay.
I'm taking Washington all day long.
So I'm taking the Rangers tonight. It's going to be a big game, and that's their last game of the year as well.
Yeah.
Everybody's playing?
Not everybody's playing tonight. The Bruins do play. They will.
No. I mean, on their team, are they sitting players out or no?
I don't think so. There's a lot on the line.
Hey, do you know what? Though I think correction there. I think if Carolina can still catch the Rangers, and then the Rangers it would be a New York first round meeting because 2 versus 3, so they would play the Islanders in the first round.
But
I like the Rangers against Washington.
Oh yeah, I if I'm a team, I'm wanting to play the Washington Capitals in the first round.
So if they win, they get So
could be the Pittsburgh Penguins. It's not locked up down there yet.
Pittsburgh's not getting in.
Yeah, but I look at the stats. I think it's 95% that the Islanders will make the playoff. So it's a good number.
Yes, but I don't know if anybody moves from the Island and Carolina. I think they're locked in to play together. That's my thing.
Oh, okay. Because the Washington is one thing, but I think the Red Wings are playing back-to-back Montreal.
Yes, they are.
So they might sneak in, right?
So now, that's fair.
I'm just I know your question, who's going to win tonight?
Yeah.
I got that. It's just that if it means nothing, I would say Ottawa, but if that means that they're going to sit a lot of guys, but if you tell me they're not sitting anybody, I think they take that game pretty seriously. I don't see Ottawa winning at Rangers. No.
Yeah. Okay.
Very negative today. Very negative. Well, it rubs off. I'm taking. Don't let them suck you in, Daigle, into the salty ways. The Rangers have 1 game left. Carolina is 1 point behind them and also has 1 game left. If Carolina wins and the Rangers lose, Carolina wins the division, which sets up a New York versus New York first round series because the Islanders are locked in that 3rd spot. So I think this is a big game for the Rangers too. I'm taking the Rangers. I think they want to win the division and they're not going to rest anybody. And I don't know about you. I don't know about you guys, but if I'm New York, I want no part of the Islanders in the first round. Those guys, they got a lot of veterans. They got a good goalie. tight defensively. They could upset the Rangers in the first round, no problem.
And we can say anything we want about Patrick Roy.
And they got Patrick Roy.
You know that those guys for the first playoff run, they're gonna be pumped up. Like he's gonna, So
Yes.
Yeah. Who are you taking, Wally?
Well, if you look at my record, you realize how many more times I've taken the Ottawa Senators than perhaps other people. So I am going to stick with a positive because they don't win in Boston. It's just a struggle for them, it feels like. So I'm taking the Ottawa Senators tonight to win. Listen, they just came back from 4 goals. They trailed 4 times against the Canadiens. They won it. They won it in overtime and a shootout win again in overtime before. They're good. They're playing well. Jacques Martin, he has this team playing 500 hockey, and I think it's going to continue, right?
But I gotta admit, you guys watched the game. I'm assuming. I think in the third period, they were dominating the Montreal Canadiens. They were unlucky, that the bounce on chicken skate or whatever, but they were just dominating. Like, I don't want to say it, but Ottawa goalie is pretty suspect at best.
Thanks,
suspect. Suspect.
I didn't watch a lot of games, but I'm looking at the stats. I'm like, it's under 900 percentage. I think it's the only one in the league, or after San Jose, the goaltending issue. So, yeah.
We're well aware.
I want to give a shout out before I leave, or you flush me, to Jim Montgomery. He just became the #1 coaches back-to-back years. It's 112 win. That's the record.
Look at you.
Yes.
So it's an unsung hero, but he's from Montreal, and I like to, he's got an Anglophone name, but he's still from Montreal. Like Mike Madison, he's a Montreal dude, and he's got 60-some points, and I hope they're going to sign him for a long time. I think we need some French players here. And like Shabbat, I just hope that they're going to keep him as well for those reasons.
Every time I hear that line, Dig, I know you're a movie guy. You're suspect. One of the best. One
the
of
usual
the best.
Suspect?
No, that's a line. That's a line from Good Will Hunting.
Oh, yeah.
When Ben Affleck goes in for the job interview, and he goes, "You suspect. You suspect." One of my favorite lines. Oh, it's so
it's
good.
funny you mentioned that because Daigle brings it up, and there's a clip in the documentary from Good Will Hunting.
Yeah,
that's right.
And it was the most emotional part of the movie, the documentary.
Yeah,
great movie.
But so shout out to Jimmy Montgomery for that. I don't think I heard that much, but it was on the U.S. broadcast. They show that stat. I said, "Wow, that's very impressive."
Good. Boston has
now he's got to win around. He's got to win around. That's the key now. That's not going to be easy, but yeah.
Well, how much pressure?
Play the Leafs.
Oh boy. Well, I think that's the best matchup for him.
You think so? You think the Toronto's the best matchup for Boston?
I think Toronto, when the leagues change the rules in the playoffs, they're going to be in trouble. I think Boston's a better 5-on-5 team than Toronto is, and if you give Matthews, you take out 2 power play for Matthews and Marner, I think that's going to hurt. It hurts the Leafs every year. That's going to happen this year again.
Look at you.
There's still a chance that Florida can win the division. So, although Boston's got a game in hand on them, and they're up by a point.
Okay.
But who doesn't want to see another Boston-Toronto?
I love this. I love this new Daigle, by the way. He's coming in with facts. He's got facts. He's like an insider now. What the hell is going on?
I know.
He's bringing Montgomery stats. He's breaking down the Ottawa power play.
The suspect
goalie's a suspect. A suspect.
Well,
another stats that I saw that really got me grinch is the trade they made with Minnesota. They sent Gustafsson. That would have been that would have been a nice little addition to you guys. Just saying.
Yeah, you like him?
Well, he's #1 goalie, and he's seems
fair
like
enough, Alex.
But
the problem in Ottawa was they didn't believe in him. He didn't put up enough beforehand to really show that he was going to be that guy. And they're like, "All right, well, we'll bring in Cam Talbot. That should be good."
Yeah.
And then it just went sideways. But
Yeah.
but under Ottawa's system, Gustafson looks ordinary or worse because of the way this team plays defense. And
That's a good
strong
point too. Yeah,
You
the
go to
system's got a
Minnesota.
lot to do with it. Yeah.
Minnesota likes to shut her down quick.
Yeah. And that's the way you're going to win the playoff, by the way. So that's why I don't know who's going to be the coach, but for sure defense is going to be a big component.
Yeah.
That'll be interesting to see who they hire as coach. Now, have you been asked who you'd like to see coach the Ottawa Senators before you go?
Joel Bouchard is my buddy, and he's been running the NHL, the AHL for a while. I think he's going to win the division this year.
Look at that.
He's with Tampa Bay. That's my pick. It's francophone. That's going to be awesome for you guys. Get the Gatineau people to come back. But I don't think Steo's got him in his black book. So if I looked at what's been circling, I'm thinking Berube will be there. That's my feeling. I think Joel Kenville is doing a little promotion tour lately to get back in the league, to get that suspension lifted. But I don't think he's the type of coach that will take a job in Ottawa. I think he's going to go with a winner, or not with a winner, but with a team's got more advance and got a chance to win right away.
Yeah.
So I like Berube's chances for sure.
Yeah. Makes
Joel
a lot.
That's a new one.
Picks the French guys all stick together though, eh? for
Berube claiming as French, but I don't.
That's right.
That's right. Great name though. But no, Gruden for me. I think Treliving put him there with the Marlies. So I'm feeling that Keefe is on, is better winner around because, Gruden is going right up there. That's my feeling is that.
So do you know John Gruden?
No, but I'm pretty sure I played against him.
Yeah.
So because
you guys didn't,
I'm just curious if you know anything about him.
They didn't cross over because Grudes played in Ottawa for a bit, Daigle. I think you were gone by the time Grudes came in.
Yeah.
So you don't know anything.
I didn't know he played in Ottawa. He played in Boston, right?
Boston, yes. Ottawa.
Yeah.
He didn't play long.
No.
Is any of those three coaches? Because I'm looking at Berube. McClellan is available. Gruden is he's in the minors. So Gruden played in Ottawa. McClellan, did he ever? I don't think he coached Theos. Did he ever?
See, I'm thinking they're both in Edmonton together.
I don't know. I don't think he coached him because I got the stat out when I was on. I don't think he coached him, but they did cross path at one point. I'm sure. I don't know where.
I'm thinking when Todd was in Edmonton and Steve was on the staff.
Yeah, potentially.
Yeah, that makes sense. So that. Nobody will tell him who to hire except the owner. But if you look at this, he's going to go with the guy that he knows, that he understands the way he's going to run his team, and they match with him. So the first two make me, Berube or McClellan will be the two that I would say have the most chances. And McClellan now, if he was on the staff, has got a big chance.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll hold you to that. So unfortunately, Alex, the people have voted in the chat. They would like you back on. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So don't delete Yorkie's number from your phone.
All right, boys. I love doing charities. Really part of my game.
Hey, how did your? I saw you in Montreal. How did your Friday go at the hockey?
It went well. We won a couple of games. The first two. After we played again. Because there's different division, right, Yorkie? You got the really competitive, and you got the mid, and I was in the mid. I would say we got a team. It was Del Weiss in there and Jesse Belanger. They had two pros, and those guys were good hockey players around. A couple of guys that played in Europe, so they should have been. I think they've been way too strong for our team. We had a guy who was 7 years old, and they were putting Weiss against him. I said, "Geez, guys, let it go." So,
I was perfect. I was in the C division. I was on right wing, wheeling and dealing, making things happen. It was awesome. That was a good time.
Alex, okay, this is how we're gonna end the show. Have you seen Jason York play recently? Like, have you watched him skate?
Played
No, I
together.
played with him in Brockville.
Right?
I know.
I could
So
see flashes of greatness.
I hit you with a stretch pass for the.
I know. And the slapper, I remember the slapper? I did a Giroux against a civilian. I just abused him. It was just awesome.
Listen,
Felt great.
I got the puck. I got the puck. I was on the breakout. I knew right away the Daigle would be cruising at the far blue line, stretching it out. Little stretch pass goes on the breakaway, and he just pumps a slapper. High glove on this poor goalie.
Glove save. The goalie just went, oh, it was beautiful. Loved it. Yeah. Thank you, Yorkie. Make me relive those moments. It was awesome.
There you go. That's what I do.
All right.
That's what I do.
All right, we'll see you next week, Daggy. Take it. We appreciate you stopping by. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, guys. And congrats against Yorkie for the grandfather of the day.
Thank you.
Very happy for you.
Hey, listen,
right.
always great to catch up and lots of fun once again.
All right, guys. Thank you.
Thank you, pal. Thank you. Well,
What a beauty, eh? What a beauty.
Time.
I know. That's hey, listen, for a guy that's only watched the Senators a couple times this year, he's kind of got the pulse of what's going on. Like, so he laughs. The nice thing about Daggy is he's got a great sense of humor, and I hope he brings that into his broadcasting career, because as you know, it is TV. Yes. Some guys can do it and some guys can't. They get on there and they're like a deer in the headlights, especially a lot of ex-players. We use the term they can't get the car out of the garage once they start talking. So
it's it's one thing to know the game, Yorkie. It's another to get it out and articulate it so people understand it. That's why the TNT broadcast is so good, because they just are so good at articulating it.
People can say what they want about Biz, but I'll tell you what, there's nobody better at getting Wayne Gretzky to be a little bit more like he's able to get Gretz to loosen up and and make that panel unbelievable. Like I think it's outstanding.
Like, just, you got Henrik Lundqvist, no big deal, like a 6-time Vezina Trophy winner. He corrected me one time in my interview. So we're at the awards and he had just won the Vezina, and I think it's like the 5th time. I don't know, whatever it is. I said, oh, congrats. You've been nominated 6 times or whatever. He goes, 7 actually. You know, it's like, okay, God, I'm sorry. Correct me right in the middle of it.
He's just so handsome. Well, you probably got looking at those eyes.
Well, that's the problem. He's a very good looking man. I got to, where is it? I got to find it quickly for it. Alfie's mullet just said Daigle going to have more in-depth nerd report than Wally on the next time he's on the show. So
way better.
I'm not sure I'm allowed to have him on anymore. He's taking my job. Do you even notice my shirt today, by the way?
What does it say? I can't even see. My eyes are so bad now. I'm wearing the glasses way up more often now. What does that say? Unparalleled success. Is that what that says?
Yeah.
Are you one of those guys?
Ago, finally,
are you one of those guys? It's like that's like the '80s when people started wearing stuff on their shirts that had like little catchphrases on them.
Well, if you don't know the one like if there's one catchphrase in Ottawa that everybody can understand, it's this one.
Unparalleled success.
Do you not remember Eugene Melnick's long press conference that he had after trying to go to Toronto and raise all this money? He wrote in this press release, Ottawa is going to have 5 years of unparalleled success.
Okay, yeah, I think that's,
And so every year after, all of us would joke, when does the unparalleled success start?
What year was that?
2018.
It's that recent, eh? 2018.
Well, it's before 5 years, so it might be. I'd have to look up the year. I think the unparalleled success should have started 2 or 3 seasons ago.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Like everybody talks that Ottawa now. What was it 7 years now since they haven't made the playoffs?
Yeah.
Like you got to discount those years a little bit because of all the meddling.
You do now.
All the meddling and things that went on during that era that just delayed the process so much.
Well, like as much as this is a positive to now have a new owner come in and a new structure and a new management team, It's
Yeah.
delayed the process. Like we have to admit and
Of
accept
course
it
it
for what
has.
it is. Like we're probably
Well,
back 2 years, if not 3 years, just over a transition.
well,
But
not only
but Yorkie, I don't know that if we had left it in 3 years from now, Pierre Dorian would have guided this team to a playoff. So I'm not saying that either.
no, there was too many mistakes made the last couple summers too that hindered things, and they'll get things on track. It's just going to take a little bit longer than people imagined. The one thing though that the Daigle did hit on that I wanted to mention again, that the new ownership is hitting out of the ballpark. I was at the game, last game by the way, and what they're doing for the in-game experience, like you've got you've got alumni coming in doing things. I got a chance to give out they're doing a great job with the military appreciation. Just things going on all game, giveaways, and the Michael Andlauer, Wally, the thing he's doing, not only with Rogers House in the Ottawa area, he's doing things in the Gatineau area as well with a similar, I believe it's called Papignon.
Yep.
It's unbelievable, but they're hitting all the right strides in the community. So think about this: as much as the season, the team didn't make the playoffs again. Look at the attendance. Like
I was just gonna say,
like that's pretty crazy for a team that didn't have some success on the ice. That the fans are coming out, and I think there's a little bit of goodwill there, and people are going to, okay, we're coming this year, but next year, let's get this right.
So the Ottawa Senator attendance, if I read this correctly,
it's pretty good.
Is up 5.9% over last year, which is fourth best in the National Hockey League.
Yeah. No,
So-
it's good.
But like no one ever comes. So remember when everybody was hammering over Ottawa, going, you guys don't care, and everybody kept saying, who was here, just wait for a change, and you will see the fans, and they have been back. For as bad and for as miserable as it seemed through this year of the struggles, and people still came and put their butts in the seats and watched them play, and I think that goes unappreciated over and over again. Did you watch Florida the other night? It was empty.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy. It's crazy. But it's the communication that's going on between ownership and getting the
leader.
message. Well, having Cy back is like, that was a no-brainer. He never should have left. No. Bringing Cy back right away and getting the business community engaged again. I've told the story. Like, I had so many buddies, business guys in the city, that just got rid of their tickets before. They're all back now. They're all back, and people are excited. And like I said, it's going to take a little more time, but I think things are on the right track.
I agree. I just think it's like, think of how things are in Buffalo. We could always be a lot worse, right?
Yeah.
And I say Buffalo, or there are other teams that have struggled. The Winnipeg Jets, by the way, it was a huge issue for them to be an attendance issue.
Yeah.
And they're one of the best teams in the National Hockey League.
Yeah.
So they're not in Arizona, which is a complete and utter How do you give the guy another chance to run an NHL team and buy his team for $1 billion?
Yeah. That's crazy. Anyways.
Okay.
We're way over.
Okay. Well, I'm busy too. We'll see you tomorrow. Oh, by the way, tomorrow, special guest. I don't know how to get around not telling Yorkie because we have to promo it. But there is a special guest for Yorkie. As right now, I don't want to let him know who it is. So, Yorkie, you're muted.
You've got my curiosity spiked now. Sorry about that, Wally.
Yeah, that's okay.
Excited.
So
don't tell me. I love a good surprise.
I'm excited for it. This may be the best way to end the season with this particular guest. So we'll see.
Okay, now you've got me thinking.
See you 3 p.m. on Tuesday, everybody. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.